I've always said Wenger has been great for Arsenal. There is no doubt about that. But what a lot of people miss is Arsenal have been great for Arsene Wenger. They've given him a platform, they've given him time, they've pretty much given him carte blanche to run the ship, within reason. Picking players, who they're going to sign, who his backroom staff are going to be, how they're going to play, how they're going to train, what's the new training ground going to look like, what's the new stadium going to look like. All this he's had a part of, but Arsenal have given him that platform. So to suggest that it's all going to come tumbling down when he leaves, it's almost what his inference is, then I think is quite arrogant.
Look, on the one hand, what Arsene Wenger says is absolutely right. Nobody is saying that Arsenal are never going to lose a game again after he departs. Nobody is suggesting that Arsenal aren't or won't continue to be a great club. But in so many instances, what he's saying is also disingenuous. Now, to talk about the number of games that Arsenal played in the European Cup before his arrival, I think it's a red herring, because let's remember we are talking a tournament back then that was only the champions who participated in.
True.
Now they're top four. Now it's about top four. So, and there's a group stage, and there's a lot that goes along with it. Now, I'm like Craig. I don't think you can praise Arsene Wenger and the role he's played enough. The trouble is, nobody sees Arsenal Football Club moving forward. Nobody thinks that Arsenal are ever going to be in a Champions League final again anytime soon, let alone win it. Arsenal have not been realistically in the conversation about winning the league for quite some time. And I know they finished second last season, but let's remember that conversation was about Leicester and Spurs until Spurs capitulated, and then all of a sudden Arsenal finished second. But they weren't really in the conversation in the last 2 or 3 months. And as you look at Wenger, appreciating his body of work, I just don't think that Arsenal have moved forward in any manner over the last 3 or 4 years. When you're stagnating like that, it says it's time to go. And again, for me, the longer he continues, the more he puts his own legacy in some danger.
Let's bring Ian Dark into the conversation, shall we? Ian, what do you make of Wenger's comments today?
Well, it was standing room only at that media conference, and I think he saw it as the vultures gathering. There is a feeling around the club on the inside, people aren't saying it openly, well, not many of them anyway, that this will be his last season. Ian Wright, his former striker, said exactly that. I think Martin Keown was saying he's now resembling a boxer who's taken too many punches. What worried me a little bit today is it looks like he's going to try to hang on and not accept the inevitable. The club is going backwards. He has been a great manager for that club, a great, great manager. He deserves to go out with class and dignity, with the ground named after him, a statue outside. But it is that time. A hurricane needs to blow through that club now. It needs freshening up. And I think the civil war among the supporters about should Wenger go, should he stay, that's now getting through to the players. Does he really want to carry on managing the club in what is becoming a bit of a toxic atmosphere?
But look, I don't think anybody, I haven't heard anybody say, Wenger, go, you're a disgrace. Come on, Arsene, come on. Time's to go now. Let's, respectfully, you've been great, it's time to go. I don't think anybody's trying to, chase him out the door and drag him out the door.
But if it's down to him, and that's what we're hearing pretty much from Arsenal, isn't it? You're on, what, $10 million a year. You've got one of the most powerful jobs in English football. Why would you want to leave? Because, as we've heard, the boys were talking yesterday, Steve, you were saying as a coach, you always think you can fix it.
I know, but then it was 4 or 5 years ago, it was the next year, and then 2 years ago it was the next year, and then we're, as Ian said, it's gone back the way. What gets me is Arsenal Football Club have paid this guy really, really well. Because they're millions, don't forget. But the amount of people that are showing sympathy to him in a way, feeling sorry for him. He's not the Dalai Lama. It's not Mother Teresa. He hasn't fed the world. He's a football manager that has been paid greatly. He's a multi-millionaire. He could go to China and probably triple his wages. He can probably go elsewhere and manage. We shouldn't feel sorry for him. People need to do the right thing now, and the right thing is for him to step down and let somebody else take this club in a different direction.
Look, to your question, Dan, when it came time for me as a player to recognise that the game had now gone by me, it's a hard admission to make. And you're kind of feeling that that's where Arsene Wenger is right now. He's just in that little bit of denial, which I certainly was for far too long towards the back end of my career.
10 years.
And now, as Ian rightly points out, Arsene Wenger is not just a great Arsenal manager or the greatest. Arsene Wenger is one of the greatest Premier League managers. And now I'm starting to wonder if he's inevitably or maybe invariably comparing himself to Alex Ferguson, who continued till he was 71, who went out on a high. But I don't think Arsene Wenger is there. I don't think Arsenal as a football club are where Manchester United were at the same time.
United didn't go on this run.
No, and that's my point. But in Arsene Wenger's mind, in that state of denial or in that state of comparison as one of the great Premier League managers, I can't help but think that he's looking at Sir Alex Ferguson as an example of somebody who went on even after some were saying it's time to move on, even after you go past your 70th birthday, and go out on an absolute high. The question is, does anybody see Arsenal giving Arsene Wenger that high to go out on? I certainly don't.
Was Wenger not saying today, and was it, I don't know if he was quoted or I'm paraphrasing, that the grass is not always greener on the other side. If you do go and get a different manager, I don't know if, I think he said that or said something to those words. But my point being to that is, or if that's what his inference was, that at some point Arsene Wenger and Arsenal are going to have to split up.
Yep.
Right? At some point. 5 years or 10 years, which clearly is not going to be. But at some point this has to happen anyway. And the way some people are talking, it's as if, oh, when this happens, Arsenal Football Club are going to struggle and they'll never come back. As I've said many times, Arsenal had many successes before Arsene Wenger there, and there was many highs and many lows. The old Highbury Stadium was a great stadium to go and play. I'm sure Ian has been there for many a great game, great atmosphere. Way back in the old days as well, there's been some great players. Just because he's been successful for a period, it doesn't mean this club can't be successful again.
Craig Burley, Sebastian Salazar in the ESPN FC studios. Craig, there was a bombshell at Arsene Wenger's press conference on Friday morning. Here's a quote.
Yep.
No matter what happens, I will manage next season, whether it is here or elsewhere. The story was always he was going to go upstairs at Arsenal. Do you believe this? He could coach somewhere else?
Yeah, and I've been following John Cross, a very experienced journalist in England who has covered Arsenal for many years. And he seems to think there is a very good chance, off the back of what you're saying, that he could go. You know, here we've been quite critical of Wenger, not just recently, but over the last couple of years, about he's hanging on too long at Arsenal. I'm certainly not suggesting, Seb, that he's a bad manager and he's a finished manager. I do think he could manage France, PSG. There was talk of him going to China if he wants another payday. He's been on $8 million a year or thereabouts for a long time. But if he wants big money, he could go to China. He will be in demand. I just think that dynamic between him and Arsenal is now stale.
Or toxic, even.
He's tried. And, well, it's getting toxic because of the supporters, and some ex-players are trying to defend him and some are not. But that dynamic of, we'll do it next year, and we'll do it next year, and I'll get a centre-half and a midfielder, and we'll do it. It's not happening. It's not happening. And so I do think, personally, he won't be at Arsenal next year, and I think that'll be a good move for the club and a good move for him as well.
So on ESPNFC.com right now, we've got an article that basically lists every team in Europe and why Arsene Wenger's a good or bad fit for him. So I'm going to shoot a couple at you. You tell me what you think offhand. Barcelona, Luis Enrique, out of contract in June. Things not going great right now. Good fit?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, because I think he's a better coach than Enrique. I think he rebuilt Arsenal, and he's been there 20 years. He's had consistency. He can work with top players. He understands how to operate in a big club and a pressure environment. So yeah, I don't. If we're looking at other coaches out there, he certainly would be up there.
You just mentioned PSG. Unai Emery was under a lot of pressure until he gets the 4-0 win over Barcelona. Could you see a move there? Wenger's been linked there before.
Yeah, I think my answer to most, and I don't know all the ones you're going to talk about, but I think my answer to most would be probably because I don't think he's a bad manager. I think it's more, it's still at Arsenal. The PSG scenario is interesting. Our colleague Julian Laurens was talking about it in the show the other day. PSG have tried for a couple of years to get him, and he hasn't taken the bait. Now, it looks like they're going to go through against Barcelona. That's a huge feather in Unai Emery's cap. They might claw back Monaco in the league, so their season's not dead in the water yet, far from it. So the PSG thing might not be around.
What about the international game? You mentioned France. What about in England? What about a U.S. men's?
Well, if you're asking about England, for example, if you're looking at Gareth Southgate and Arsene Wenger, it's a no-brainer. It's Arsene Wenger all day, and I think I've always said that. Then you look at the US bringing in Jurgen Klinsmann. Jurgen Klinsmann wasn't a top coach. Right?
No.
That's fact. He was a top player. He wasn't a top coach. Wenger is. Whether that would be something that interests him, I don't know. He certainly is in the top coach brackets. That there's not. It's like saying, even though Ferguson's been retired for a couple, 2 or 3 years, would you like Alex Ferguson to come in and oversee things for a 5-year period? Then the answer would be yes. And therefore, even though Wenger has hit the buffers in the last few seasons, I still think he'd be a good fit for a lot of people.
Arsene Wenger may be done at Arsenal, but not done overall at 67 years old.